On time.
Saturday, I'm held at 6.
Just take your time.
I won't eat during the pledge. I hope.
I pledge allegiance, flick your finger.
Well, it's 6 p.m. and let's open with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. All right, you've had the opportunity to see the agenda. I will mention that 8E, while I may be one of the harder mayors, my name is Hader, not Harder. So Haeder, to sign excessive force. It's ironic. Policy. That's the only thing I saw that was not, I guess. Does anybody have any additions, corrections, or?
Sorry about that.
Nope, that's all right. I've been called worse and harder. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda,
I'll second that.
except we have to change harder to hater.
thank you. Darla? And- Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda with the exception that 8E should say Mayor Hader instead of Mayor Harder. Excuse me. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Community development. This is exciting. Seth Wyland. Is it Wyland or Wyland?
That's Wyland. You got it right.
Well, yeah. How are you doing, Seth?
Good,
Yeah,
good.
well, you do
Absolutely.
what's up
Seth
to
Wyland.
you.
Very good. Some of you might know me, originally from Beersford. Still reside there in the country between Alcester and Beersford here. With Meredith's group, Weichert Realtors out of Sioux Falls. Basically, my passion is going around small town South Dakota economic development, whether it's actually in town or we're talking rural business development, housing. Just wanted to have a quick discussion, informal, get to know each other here on where we are as the city of Alcester and always progressing forward. Alcester being one of the towns that I've studied for quite some time as being, close and have time to see you go through some phases, with the school and housing growth. Right now, there are 3 housing listings on the market that have been on for 60+ days. According to your sign, you have a lot for sale, but that's not on the market. And then that would be what is published on the public market. Since economic development is such an important part of small town South Dakota, the saying, if you're not growing, you're dying, seems to be pretty true. There's a lot of things on the agenda, whether it's tonight or most of the year, on somebody else needing more money, but a lot of the time it's harder to get some more income, and that's the hard part of the job, for you. And so if there's any way that we could bring some more income, that's kind of what we're here to help. And there's no silver bullet. There's a lot of different types of real estate, whether it's commercial, industrial, light commercial, light industrial, residential. We just got to grow in it each way that we can, and kind of feed off of the growth that has been happening and that you have been feeding off of. So with that being said, I had a couple questions and then just wanted to go into some discussion. My first question was, I'm sure you guys have some needs of what you think there are needs in real estate, and then when the last time you did a housing study. So.
Well, those are very good questions. Yes, we do have needs. We need 300,000 to 300,000 people to pay for the infrastructure
Right.
in the city. But we also have needs to be able to expand,
Right.
as you know. And we're working on that. As a matter of fact, Gordon Richard, the gentleman all the way in the back of the gallery there,
Yep.
he's part of the newspaper here in
Okay.
town. And he's been an instrumental cog in the whole wheel that we're trying to develop Alcester. Actually, redevelop.
Right.
And it's a chore, because there's a lot of infrastructure that's old, that needs to be upgraded before we can even support the current
Oh, right, right.
development.
You know, those are all part of needs as far as you got new construction and you got stuff that has to be replaced and everything in between. And when you got a lot that needs to be replaced, it gets to be looking on who's gonna pay for what
Right.
and how do we make this work.
I guess regarding, one of the answers to your question is, yes, we're looking at it, but we're looking at it from about a
Mile high.
75,000 foot view, because we can't even get down to 10,000 feet yet. That's our problem. We have limited funds,
Right.
and everybody does. So we're just trying to do what we can, one step at a time. But that being said, I think it's wonderful that you're willing to come here and talk to us. And Seth, do you have contact information that you can provide to the council members and us?
Yeah, I can send it to Pat, that'd probably
That'd
be
be
the
fine. And-
easiest.
Or on our website? I mean, every one of us has contact information on the website, so.
Right. Yep, I can send that. We're rebranding our logos and stuff, so those aren't gonna be out till the new year, so we don't have new cards until the new year, you know, but, yeah, you're more than welcome to email me, get a hold of me on my cell phone anytime you guys have a question or idea. You know, I do this, I'm usually at a meeting once a week or twice, 3 times a week here at something like this, so.
That's a reciprocal invitation too. I mean, you can contact any one of us
Right,
anytime, so.
To answer your question on the housing study,
okay,
we are in the process of one right now.
That's what I was saying. Gordon was instrumental in starting kind of this whole,
right?
but it's in its infancy.
When was the
Because-
last time one was done before this? Do you have an idea when the last time one was done before this one that you're?
Probably never.
I don't have an answer for you on that.
This was being done out of a firm out of Minnesota.
Correct.
Dave Larson's been intimately involved,
Yes.
so is Lucas. We are meeting with there's a group in town of housing leaders that we're periodically meeting with.
Right.
We've been visiting with a firm out of Sioux Falls that's willing to come down and build some housing if there's an interest. So there's some things being done.
Right, no,
That being said, we have a Housing Redevelopment Commission, HRC, Alcester HRC, and we have done quite a bit, but we need to do more. One of the things that we found in the near past, we ordered a governor's house, quote unquote governor's house, 18 to 24 months. And they said it could be as much as 36 months.
Right, so nothing tomorrow.
Yeah, there's our, oh, I'm sorry, that's what I was saying earlier. That was gonna happen. Yeah, it's not overnight. And that's what Gordon has seen, that's what we've all seen. I mean, we try to do things and we see a need, there's a hole in the ground. We have to cover the hole. 6 months later, there's a bigger hole in the same ground. 9 months later, it's even bigger yet. 2 years later, it might be covered. That's the nature of, I don't know, public economics.
Right, yeah, that's true.
And it's sad. It really is sad. But I apologize, I gotta step away here just for a minute, but if you guys have questions, this is a very good dialogue here, so.
Well, like you said, the Beck Drive lots, you know, those have just finally finished up. I think the last one sold, it sounds like.
Right.
To my knowledge, we still have one left.
Still one left.
I think I looked at the sign that there was the Hat Faker one or something on the corner, or in the middle.
In the middle.
In the
yeah.
middle, that, yeah, it's kind of right as you, yeah, there's a little turn there
Yeah.
on the north side, but.
So our next step is to, I guess, figure out where we want to develop more lots and, you know, continue the development out. And that's been an ongoing discussion to figure out where next is going to be. And like the mayor talked about, that's a lot of it has to do with infrastructure, because there's places that would work great, but to bring all new infrastructure out there is going to be really costly, and that's a big bill to foot for until somebody buys the lots. So
Right.
it's a fun
Right,
road.
and then to maintain them, and I don't know how your lines sit going back, you know, there's a lot of need for the rest of the infrastructure to be updated, let alone to be putting new out, so I know you guys know all about that, but yeah, basically just wanted to start the discussion. I know lots are a big thing, you know, governor's homes, we've seen, you know, I suppose the biggest problem where you're sitting at today is the house that is borderline condemned or should have been condemned or whatever. It's doing those type of projects, or a commercial building that's been sitting empty, and just trying to get some of those use. I think making lots is sometimes easier than those. I don't know what these guys would say, but you know, it's making lots sometimes is the easy part of it, whether it's low entry condos or apartments or governor homes, or you know, I think it's dealing with the lower end of what you're gonna have to deal with next that aren't gonna be as convenient, so. Still might having to be redoing infrastructure and demolition and everything else, but.
Well, we have with the HRC plans to, as you mentioned, there's one lot available now on Beck Drive. It might not be listed, quote unquote listed with realtors, but it probably will be gone in the not too distant future. So we're actively looking at redeveloping an entire area. And that's kind of a long road to hoe as well, so.
Right, and like I was talking to them, was whether it's anything that's been vacant for a while, you're gonna have to redo that. Infrastructure is almost harder than just going and building new lots, you know, either way it's a huge cost either way.
Trees and various,
And those sewer lines and everything's probably clay and been there for a long time, so. Yeah, just wanted to start the discussion if there was anything else.
well, I, for one, appreciate you coming in and welcome a dialogue between all of us and Seth. So
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
nice to meet you. I'll stay, so.
Excuse me. Chocolate. So we'll move on to number 5, public input.
I have public input. Some of it is directly involved with the developing. And one of the things you guys need to realize is that, for the most part, it's going to involve lift stations. And those are spendy. The thing is, if you bring a developer in, you make sure, in my opinion, you make sure the developer is responsible for sidewalks, streets, and lift stations. They pay for those, and then the cost of the lot will refer back to that. Because a lift station, the last time I looked at, when I went out and did some research on it, some of them can be as much as $300,000. And water does not run uphill. So you gotta pump it. And with those lift stations, you have to have electricity attached to those lift stations. So, but when you're dealing with a developer, you guys need to take, and you need to, okay, the developer needs to take care of this, curb and gutter. You can specify what you're looking for, but it's up to them to price it into what they need. The other thing I would recommend, no slab houses. This is where there's no basement under it. I've watched that in another area. I did take a real estate course when I was in school. But that can create some problems. If you're looking for the elderly, the townhouse apartments were developed, but not for the elderly, because you've got up and downs. So just with that. Some things I noticed, the resolutions, I didn't have a chance to, I wanted to bring those up. The fair housing resolution, I get that, equal opportunity employee. Certification regarding restriction of lobbying. We've had a couple instances where there was some quasi-lobbying done within the city employees and stuff. Our city attorney is a lobbyist. One of my concerns is if he wants to get us involved in a group of lobbying, who's paying for that? We're paying him for legal advice, but is he also going to expect a lobbying fee kind of thing? So it's something you guys need to be aware of. Ask questions. Look it up. There's sites on it. One site I did come across, and it's the South Dakota HUD, and it describes some of what we've talked about in that. But go into it informed with that. And like I said, equal opportunity, that's just housekeeping, and I'm surprised that, that this hasn't been taken care of. I want to check one more thing. Excessive force, that's not, the city owns a lot of property through condemnation. There's no there's no tax revenue off those while the city has it. The city sells it, then the person that buys it starts paying taxes, and it goes back to the beginning of the year, as I understand it. So you need to be aware of that, of repurpose and stuff. But there's, like I said, there's a lot of things. Why is the city accumulating property and accumulating businesses where they're going into competition for incoming business? Because you want to grow the city, you grow people, but you also have to grow businesses. And if the city's going to be in competition for restaurants or bars, that's not a good mix, in my opinion. Again, my opinion. The city shouldn't be in competition with their downtown area, because you want somebody to come in, set the business up for a profit, and they're gaining the profit and they're paying the taxes. When the city owns it, there's no taxes. community center. I do not believe that there's any property taxes being derived off that property. If somebody else owned it, yes, we would. But with the city owning it, we don't. So it's something to keep in mind when you're doing these confiscations of properties and stuff. You need to be aware of that. Okay? And let's see. I think that's everything I have for right now.
Is there any other public input?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
David Larson.
Yes.
I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you folks, Mayor and the council people, for the job you're doing to get our city going, keep it going. I was hoping that there'd be a couple more seats at the table that were filled. This budget year is pretty much set, but you might want to consider raising the council and mayor's salaries in the coming years. Possibly a little extra monetary incentive would encourage more people to take on the job. If the state limit for payment to council members and mayors is still set at $5,000, I think the mayor should be at that level. Council members should be maybe a bit less than that, but it's a big job, and we appreciate your doing it.
Thank you very much. Is there any other public input?
Well, I don't know, it's not on the agenda, but I did talk to Sam about that issue because we are not getting any more on council. So I asked him if there would ever be a way we could do it at large. And he said I think he said July 1st of this last year, it was voted on. And if your city is smaller, you can do that. So he said in the future, in the new year, we might have to look at that.
2023, yeah, I agree.
And he said you can always take it back off. But I mean, look, we've had, 6 months and no one.
The issue on that is somebody has to bring it as a referendum and it has to go to vote.
Right. He said
We
it had
have
to
to
be
have
voted
an
on by
election.
the council, yeah.
No,
Well, it has
No,
to
it
go
has
to
to
the
be
whole
voted
state.
on by
by
the
the public.
community. But that would be done during the election that's coming up in April. Yeah, I mean, so it could be.
I think we really do need to look at it because,
Well, it's something to discuss.
yeah,
We've got a little time to discuss it, but we should.
yeah. But I mean, it's something we can do.
Yep, yep,
So
I agree.
we're not just cut off that we can't do it. I think school board has had to do that. I remember the school board has had to do that because they couldn't get people to run. So it might be something we need to look at.
Put a note in people's water bills, it worked for me.
All right, Abigail, January.
You got it.
I have some,
Yes, is there any other discussion?
I was told that at the, I was gonna call it the liquor store, at the bar, they have to buy ice. That somebody did come out and look at their ice machine, and they said, you need a new one.
Okay. No one said anything to me. I mean, there was a weekend where she said it wasn't working, but that's all I know.
Yeah, well, I didn't see her. I saw them buying ice. And I go, what are you buying ice for in the ice store? So I don't know what.
They always have.
Is that
Pretty
our
good ice.
responsibility?
Well,
It's our
that
ice
machine is
machine.
our
Oh,
machine.
okay.
But.
But they're ready, they said they were buying all the ice from Total Stop. I was like, oh.
It was always good ice. I mean, I would go in there and buy ice to fill my cooler when you went camping or, whatever. I mean, and now it's been a while. We haven't been camping here
Because I know
lately.
that it wasn't working properly when appraisals there. But
It was? or
it was
wasn't?
not, but she complained to me about it. And then,
Well,
I-
why is this the first we've heard of it?
no, I've talked to her about it before.
And I talked to Augustine when she first got it, and she had someone come in, and originally it was working. And then that's all I know.
I think it's been like 2 years.
Needs to be looked at the least, so. Is there any other public input? I have some here that came in the form of a letter from Blue Peak, and I don't feel right about not bringing it to people's attention. Blue Peak has purchased Vast, and they are a new player in town, and they've got internet, they've got IT, so I think it's a good idea for everyone to know that just because Alliance Communications is our local central office and our local IPO, there are other players in town, so.
I have a question on that. Don't we have a license? Don't we license providers?
They're all licensed according to their own businesses, yes.
That didn't
Is there
answer the
any other-
question. That didn't answer the
Yes,
question.
they're all
Where this, no,
licensed.
where the city,
No, the city
demands a
doesn't
license.
have a license with Alliance Communications.
Okay.
Alliance Communications is a company that does business in the city. It's just like Mid-American Energy or any other utility. That's all. It is.
no, what I'm saying is a lot of cities, they come in and they require a license. If they have more than one vendor for that particular service, then it gets into a bidding process. And the city comes out and the city calls the shots and not necessarily that. That's why I was asking.
Okay, I understand. Is there any other public input? If not, we're going to move on to legal update. Sam Nelson is not here. I don't know if we have any updates regarding any of the nuisance properties, et cetera. but-
No update on that, I just wanted to let you know when we get down to number 8, Sam has reviewed all of the documents and resolutions that you'll be looking at tonight, and he did have a couple of very minor tweaks, and those have been made. You have the most recent copies in your packet, so.
Number 7, chairperson updates. We'll go with the streets first. And Ms. Lucas as chairperson.
I do not have any of them.
He's done a very admirable job of dealing with the white stuff, so. How about the cemetery? Let's see, cemetery is Cindy.
It's pretty quiet,
You know, can imagine.
so, and I haven't heard, nobody said any, I haven't had any complaints.
Well, we ping pong back to Lucas for water.
Nothing.
How about wastewater?
No updates.
Okay. How about the library?
Nope.
Golf course community center. Tara?
I talked to them today, and it's been quiet, but they said they have seen a little bit the last weeks. They have now hired 2 new cooks to help, Connie and Jenna, which we'll hire tonight. They are very, very excited with Connie. She's 16 years old, and they said she's doing an awesome job.
She's awesome.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
they're And they are also training Lincoln, which we've already hired. He doesn't really care to be a dishwasher. And they're training him to be a fry cook. So our issue this last month has been in the kitchen, and it's looking up. We don't have a lot of events. They said it's been kind of quiet, but, so they were a little, the cook problem is much better, they said, so that's good.
The weather's had a
Well, that's
dramatic
what I told
impact.
them.
I mean,
The weather, and there's been no sporting events, and I don't think the economy is helping either right now.
I'll give you that too. Anything else you can think of, or, I mean, obviously, we're gonna talk about some of that in a bit. Speaking of weather, the park and the pool are probably pretty quiet. How about the finance office?
She's always busy. Well, I am planning on getting her review done. I'm all taken care of, I'm healthy, and now I gotta take care of her.
That's good. And Darla, regarding the ice machine, if we skip that,
Well, I tried to call, I got the phone number again from her, from Pat today, but she doesn't answer. So I've been down there a couple times, it wasn't open.
do they have a landline?
I don't know, but there's no
Bar
answer.
does, yes. But
And
they're not open on the weekends.
They're not open
is
on
They're
there
not
a
open today.
voicemail on their landline, or, I mean, I think that's an automatic thing with Alliance, isn't it?
I gave her Augustine's phone number.
Yeah, she didn't answer. And I tried Austin and he didn't answer, so that's how today went.
Okay, well, it's hard to fix something. People don't communicate. So, we'll move on to the CDBG paperwork, funding paperwork. And I've got here a whole stack of different documents that are,
And Harvey is here if there's any questions,
yeah.
so.
We've got that 2022-09 Fair Housing Resolution. I don't know if you guys need to,
Did we skip over fund transfers, number 9?
We're on number 8.
we're on number 8.
Oh, still on 8.
Resolution number 2022-09, Fair Housing Resolution. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to dig into it enough. If you need to discuss it, if we need to just make a motion. But we're not getting any younger.
Is just a motion to approve these resolutions? I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-09 Fair Housing Resolution.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution number 2022-09 Fair Housing Resolution. Is there any discussion?
So my question on these is, we've had these and they've changed a bit, or these are all new?
Part of this, the CDBG grant funding that we were just
Award.
awarded,
Okay,
has some of these stipulations because you're dealing with community funding. They need to make sure that these are in place.
okay.
And current, and with the right verbiage. And,
Right.
you know, I mean, they're lawyers. That's what they do.
Right.
And Sam did all of these, did he? I mean.
Yes, he,
These are all
He looked
the
them all
ones
over.
that- okay.
Harley prepared them, but Sam looked them over.
is there any other discussion? not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? About 2022-10, equal employment opportunity policy. That is about the same thing. I mean, we've always had an EOP, an equal opportunity policy, but it has to be, I don't know, whitewashed. It has to be reviewed, and so it was. I don't know if you had a chance to read it all. Any discussion?
Now, this might be a dumb question, but in our handbook, we would have this similar thing, correct?
Correct.
Our personnel. So then does our personnel manual have to reflect this?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
If verbiage changed, yes, it would have to be modified.
I don't know, you know, I just was thinking about that as
The code of conduct will go into.
into our handbook.
Bless you.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-10, equal employment opportunity policy.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2022-10, equal employment opportunity policy. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, there's a motion to authorize me to sign the relocation, displacement, and acquisition plan. And that's another document that you have had an opportunity to look at. I'm assuming you've looked at it. I'm not gonna put a bunch of cows on Main Street, so it's not about that. It's just making sure that everything is worded correctly.
I'll make a motion to approve and authorize Mayor Hayter to sign relocation, displacement, and acquisition plan.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to authorize me to sign the relocation, displacement, and acquisition plan. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to approve and authorize me to sign certification regarding restrictions on lobbying. It's not allowances, it's restrictions on lobbying. The restrictions have been in place for a long time. Now, you had an opportunity to look at them. I'll give you more time if you need it, that's fine. But
So Harley, to answer the question that was brought up in public input, what this is saying is that any federal funds that are awarded will not be used for lobbying.
Correct.
So the situation that Ms. Larson brought up about having a city attorney that lobbies as a part of his job, is that in conflict at all?
No, that's like separate from the project itself,
Okay.
and the funding.
and we as a city entity don't pay for lobbyists. We don't. We don't. It's restricted. Is there any other discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve and authorize Mayor Hayter to sign certification regarding restrictions on lobbying.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the mayor to sign the certification regarding restrictions on lobbying. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to approve and authorize Mayor Hayter to sign excessive force policy. And this policy, I don't know, Sam brought up a question that he wondered whether this wasn't already in force. I don't know what the official answer to that is.
Because I had the same thought when the documents came in, because last November, we just passed an excessive force policy for our police personnel manual. And so I pulled that, but that is dealing more with tasing, shooting, I mean, it's quite specific. So I felt this is a completely different animal, so I felt we probably didn't need it. But I did ask Sam, and Sam looked at both of them, and he said it would be fine to have this one approved as well, because they are different. This is strictly, this is a civil action where if a police officer is needing to use excessive force, that's more criminal. So that's how these are different.
So if Lonnie saw somebody on the street molesting somebody while he was scooping snow, and he decided to get out of his vehicle and take care of that individual that was molesting somebody, that's excessive force. The point is, it's a civil thing, not a criminal thing. It's not the cops. So, you've had a chance to look at the document. It's pretty minor. Are there any other discussion points?
I'll make a motion to approve and authorize Mayor Hayter to sign excessive force policy.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the mayor to sign the excessive force policy. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 2022-11. Excuse me. Has to do with the code of conduct. A little more in depth.
So this is the one that will actually be updated. It has a first and second
manual.
reading, and then we'll go on our manual.
It's rare, but I will say, thank goodness we have lawyers. I mean, it's a good thing we've got somebody that's looking at this stuff, because
A motion to approve ordinance number 2022-11, an ordinance of the city of Alcester, South Dakota, amending the revised municipal ordinances of the city of Alcester by adding chapter 1.05 Code of Conduct. Motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 2022-11. 11.
Wow, that was well read. Motion's been made and seconded exactly as written in 8F and F sub I. Is there any discussion?
The one thing, like, when we change these, we really need to let all our people know.
It's a good point.
You know, you can't make a rule and then they don't have any idea.
This
about the
doesn't
rule.
go in personnel policy manual. This
Right.
goes in our ordinance manual.
But they still, we're probably gonna have to make a point to make them aware of it.
Yeah, it would be a
That-
good
That
idea,
there's a change, you know what I mean?
at least for the committee, to contact each individual and say,
Just
you
so
know,
you know.
there's been changes to ordinances that affect your occupation. You might want to be aware of those.
Like when you log into Facebook and it says your terms of service have been updated, do you want to view them? Or
Yeah, well, everybody reads 500 pages in 2 seconds and then says, yes, I agree. Is there any other?
In my past job, if they made any change, the change was sent to us and we had to initial and send back, yes, we read it. That way, if anything ever happened, we were covered.
That's a good point.
I
Yeah.
agree, yeah, like everybody should, each individual should be notified, like,
I mean, even if we just send them an email and said, look over these are changes. And initial it so that it lets us off the hot seat if something happens. You know what I mean?
So this will go online.
Okay.
It'll be on the website. This is not in the personnel policy manual.
Right.
It's in our city ordinance. So,
However, all of us,
This is more dealing, this one particularly is more dealing with us saying that we can't vote for something that's getting federal funds if I have a business that's gonna build whatever, like if my business
Yeah,
is
yeah.
gonna build the wastewater treatment plant, I can't vote for my company to build the
No,
wastewater
right,
treatment plant.
right.
But like, you know, a cook down at the golf course, this has nothing to do with
But
that.
it could affect Lonnie and it could affect Dale.
yep, but all of us should be aware, as employees of the city, should be aware of the ordinances. And I think that's a good point, Darla. I think it'd be a good idea for every single committee to, once in a while, just look back and say, well, there's a brand new one that says 2022. You guys need to know this is in there. Yeah. So, good idea. Is there any other discussion regarding item 8F and sub I? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Fund transfers, this will be fun. We already have talked about
who has requested this on the agenda?
So, I guess, I've had a lot of kickback. I've had citizens swearing at me. They've grabbed me by the shirt. What are you guys thinking? I have talked to a couple other city mayors, and, you know, I don't know what to do about this whole situation, but, you know, we can't be taking money from accounts. I don't feel, and I even kind of questioned it, you know, we take it from that curb and tax, that's our second penny, I believe. Who's to say we're gonna put that money back in there?
No, second penny and curb and gutter are not the same.
Well, I guess there's one account that people do put their money into, they pay into, I guess, is what I understand. I don't know who,
The money we collect for curb and gutter, that special assessment, is put in,
$1 per front foot.
yes.
that is used for our street.
And it's not used for anything else, ever.
So when we get to.
Camera people,
When we spend.
it's not used for anything else.
When we spend, you know, I think this year was 52,000 on new asphalt, and the projects that we did, that's where that money comes from.
And chip sealing, if we're 10,000 short and we've got 10,000 in there, guess where it comes from? So what we're doing is exactly the same as every other administration ever in the history of this city. You have to make sure that at the end of the year, all balances are
And I get
in the
that,
black.
I get that. I mean, I've been a business owner for 27 years, I get it.
Well, but
But I
they
just-
don't
what I-
evidently.
what
The
I'm
people that
saying
grabbed
is-
you by the shirt didn't. They must not realize it.
A lot of people don't understand money too, also. But in the same situation as, if the golf course is $200,000 short, I know if my business was short, the banker would say, you know what, give me the keys. So if we're taking money from all these other accounts to pay this golf course, you know, to pay $200,000, well, in my opinion, that's a lot of money.
Have they looked at the pool for the last 20 years?
Yeah, it should be replaced before and it hasn't.
No, but
Well,
the pool is a loss.
The pool is a money pit.
I understand that.
Well,
But I mean,
so is the park.
We didn't just
So
get
is
them
every
transferred
single street that
$200,000.
we have, Lucas. I mean, every single street we have is a loss leader. People have to realize that it takes money to keep the streets, the sewer running, the water running, the pool running,
Correct.
the school running. No, do we need a golf course? Nope, we don't. We never have. Nobody does. Nobody needs a golf course. Nobody needs a pool. Nobody really needs a school. It used to be that people were homeschooled. Do they want to go back to that? And that's my whole point. There's only one way that all of this keeps developing and getting better and better and better. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong for bringing it. I think you're absolutely right for bringing it, especially if somebody had the audacity to put their hands on you. The audacity to put their hands on you.
I think I've had over 30 people contact me about this since the last meeting.
Well, that's-
I've lost a lot of
I
sleep
have not
over it.
heard,
I'm sick of
I've
it.
not heard anything until right now.
I'm just telling you. I don't know if anybody else has, but I've had a lot of contacts.
Have any of you?
I've had 2 comments about it.
Did they grab you by the shirt?
No,
Did
they didn't grab me by the shirt.
No, and I don't mean to make
I
light
think-
of that. I'm just saying,
I
are
think
people
where
just,
the discrepancy is if we're taking money from one account, that's leaving them short. The one we took it from.
but they're enterprise accounts. Do
And
they
it's
realize
allocated.
what that means?
It's okay to do.
Well, the people that audit us demand it. They don't, if we don't do it, we
No,
get
we
called
know
on the
that.
carpet.
They told us that it had.
Well,
it's a
do they
zero
know
balance,
that?
but, yeah.
Do the people in that camera know that? Evidently not. Because we're not just doing this, you know what, I'd rather just do this.
No, but I think people need to understand it. You know, maybe we need to somehow let them know. You know, or, I don't know.
We're trying, every single meeting, we're trying.
Yeah,
And
some
they're
of them I
welcome
said,
to sit
come
right
here,
in here.
but they.
There's room for another 50, 80, 100 people in here.
Hey,
So-
John doesn't get it either, so I hear it at home.
Yeah, they don't understand.
He doesn't understand it. I can honestly say, I'm not good at explaining it.
Well, but everyone is ignorant of everything once. Nobody could walk when they were born. Everyone is ignorant of everything once, but if you ask the right questions, and if that information is disseminated back to you appropriately, you learn. You're no longer ignorant. And that's the problem, is that we don't have enough people that are willing to come to, I mean, we have public hearings with 2 people in the place. I mean, come on.
I've never been to one of these. Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so what I'm looking at on this paper is the golf course is 200,000 in red. They need 200 grand to cut even for the year, right? And you want to take 125,000, no, 150,000 from the water fund and the sewer fund? Okay,
That's already in there.
right,
It's not money that we're gonna get
right.
after the fact.
So
Okay.
the water and sewer fund, which you're also trying to do everything with the wastewater
They're
fund.
enterprise funds.
Yep. So, we're taking 150 grand from water and sewer to go to the golf course. For what? Because as a resident, and I grew up here, from the water and sewer fund, I would personally rather have my water lines and my sewer and the sewer things in the curbs and gutters be fixed than 200 grand go to the golf course.
It's understandable.
And that's a public input. I've never been to a city council meeting.
It's awesome. I'm glad you're here.
So my question is if by taking 150 grand from water and sewer, because that's where you're taking 3/4 of this money from, is what does that leave water and sewer at? Because I live on Iowa Street, and I'm pretty sure my sewer lines need replaced terribly.
Well, it depends
And
on what
Lonnie
you,
told me that.
what you refer to as sewer lines. If they're from your property to the,
Nope, they're all the ones on city. They don't have anything to do with my
Okay,
property.
okay. Well, and you're right. There's a lot of the infrastructure in this city that needs to be replaced.
Yep. So that would be my question. Is it worth giving up 150 grand from our sewer and water to go to the golf course? Don't get me wrong, I think it's the building's amazing. It's something great for our community. But is it, I need water and sewer before I need a golf course, is what I'm saying,
All right,
as a public resident. And everybody that lives in this town, that has lived here most of their lives, needs sewer and water before they need a golf course.
it's a valid point. And we need to balance the books by December 31st. Or else, guess what happens? We get fined, and it costs us even more. So, in order for us to balance the books, because we did build a community center, and that's part of the golf course. That's where some of the money is going. Now, I'm not arguing, I'm just stating a fact. So are you. I am telling you, I want my sewage to go away from my house. But I want clean water to come into my house. So, we're all taxpayers. I don't like things going up,
Do
but
we know what that, by taking $150,000 from water and sewer, do we know what that would leave water and sewer sitting at?
Yeah.
yes, we do.
Is that public input or?
Well,
No.
it could be public, it actually is already, it probably was already in the form of the balance sheet that was,
That I sent out to you guys. Water had about, it was a month ago that I looked at these numbers, but I'm gonna say water had about 194 in a reserve account that could be used for anything. We had it as a reserve account because we had a loan and we no longer have any loans with water. So there is that. And then either one of those funds will still have ample funds available for them to operate.
Okay. So then my question is I know it's not on your discussion that I see today, but what has been put in the paper and what most residents know is the wastewater project. I'm assuming it's on hold right now or whatever's going. Does any of that come out of water and sewer?
It will.
The wastewater will.
It comes out of water, just sewer and water?
Wastewater is sewer.
Okay. So taking $75,000 out of sewer is actually gonna take 75 grand away from the wastewater that we're already short on?
It's,
In layman's terms?
it's not, where we were short with the sewer project is the bid came in
Too high.
over like 1.8 million what we anticipated.
Okay.
The funding for this project is part of what they did in step number 8. We received some grant money to help complete the new part of the project, as well as other funding that's been secured to create the new part of the project. So.
It just seems like a really
Two
big chunk of
different-
change.
It is. It's a large amount of
That's all
money.
I'm saying.
And in all honesty, if you think about farming and banking together, farming is an enterprise. And they deal with credit, just like we as a city deal with credit, but we can borrow from ourselves and not pay any interest, and eventually pay back.
Do you plan to have a goal or a timeline in place to put that back? The reason I'm asking so many questions is because based off this, everything else on here is a motion by and a second by, and then you vote on it. This is just a discussion, so this sounds like it's gonna happen whether it's motioned or second or anything.
This
That's
actually
because it already did
already
happen.
happened.
Okay, so it's already said it's going to move.
But Lucas was exactly right to bring this to our attention as a good discussion topic. And this is why, because there should be 50 more of you out there asking the same thing, if there are 50 people that care.
Can I give you a little bit of input?
This is where.
So, I grew up here. My parents have lived here most of my life. I'm 30, I'll be 36 next month. Lucas knows who I am. Darla knows who I am. I think the reason you don't get the public's input or the people that you want here is because me personally, I don't know what's going on in the city. I'm 35. I don't buy the paper. I don't read the paper. I might stand at the end of the grocery store aisle and pick it up while they're scanning and bagging my stuff, but then I put it back. I don't buy it. That's me. But not only that, but nowadays everything's in here. The city of Alcester, we have a police department, we have the bar, we have the grocery store, we have everything that has a Facebook, a social media app. I don't know if you guys do anything or note anything like that. I know Vicki here posts her videos. I don't know how many people follow Vicki's page or want to sit and listen to the hour to 4 hour meeting. Just saying. But if there was maybe like a shortened thing, like, hey, this is what we spoke about today, and put it on a Facebook page, you might find that you get more people commenting and interacting and maybe actually showing up to these. Not only that, but people my age, right now there's an FFA meeting going on at the school. Nobody's gonna be here. Most of their kids are in FFA meetings, basketball games, everything else that's going on. It's really hard for our age group, when you have kids and everything, to make something that's at 6 o'clock.
Can you imagine how hard it is for these people to sit here when they have FFAers
Yeah,
and they're still here?
yeah.
2 of them are not, because they quit.
Yeah.
The point is, we all have to make sacrifices, and I understand what you're saying. I can't even believe I'm here. I should actually have been working still late tonight, but I got lucky and I got out in time. So,
I'm just saying.
I'm not faulting you, I'm not faulting
Oh,
anybody, but I'm just flat out saying, we're all in the same boat. We all have sewage. We all
Well, I
want
don't have
sewage.
sewage problems, I just know that the sewer line.
Well,
on the
but
city
you will
property
if
in
it
my
doesn't get fixed.
Right, but the thing is you're taking 200 grand from there and putting it to the golf course. You've already voted on it, it's already happening before December 31st.
That's a good point.
So it's already done and
But
over
this
with.
is
Me,
al- this
me
is
talking
also-
right now doesn't matter.
This is also money that's already been, this money
Budget.
is so that we can budget and close out.
Right,
So
but what's
this
gonna-
money, the new budget starts, so the money basically is starting again in January. So at this point, I mean, that's how I see it.
Right.
We agreed on it and
it's happening no matter what anybody's input is from here on out.
And if we don't have if our budget isn't, at the end of the year, we're in trouble. And we can't afford to be in trouble.
I would point out that projects such as the community center should have been put to a public vote.
They were a long time ago. Is there any other discussion that we need to?
That was a
Deal
non-answer.
with item 9? Long time ago.
No.
Well, you can see there's a supplemental appropriations ordinance 2022-08, and that actually talks about moving money from one account to another to keep everything in the black. This would be the second reading of that ordinance. We get an opportunity to look at it.
So, Pat, if somebody addresses us,
Mhm.
no money is ever used at the end that is from any kind of grant or anything, right?
Like a revolving fund or whatever.
So the way I would put it to someone would be like in your own personal budget. Let's say in your house, your water heater dies. You take money out of your savings account or your house fund or whatever you call it, and that is how you would pay for that new water heater. Wasn't in your budget or at the beginning of the year because you didn't know it was gonna happen.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it happens. And then what happens is the next year you replenish funds through your sales, through your collecting of your fees, and that's how it gets back.
Gets put back.
So another thing to tell people that question you on it, you have two choices as a municipality at year end. You can choose to not have your funds in balance. And then the auditors will find that and they will present a finding. And a finding is not good on your audit. And then the other option is that you move the funds around from pot to pot and you make that so that you don't have any of your funds in the red.
That part, I totally understand that part. It's just that people know you're not depleting some fund for another fund.
Right. The other thing to tell people is that this was our first year at this building. We did not know exactly what to expect. We maybe didn't make the right decisions initially. I feel the council has made really good decisions right now. I think you have really strong leadership up there right now. You have the type of leadership that is seeing something like if sales are slower, they start cutting people early. They start looking for ways to cut expenses. You've got people up there now that are keeping track of inventory much better than when we started. It has been a year of learning. Will we be in the same place a year from now? I don't believe we will.
I think that's the biggest thing on it is, yeah, at the end of the year, like you said, with the water heater thing, it sucks to have to replace it, but the next thing for this next year is we have to try to do what we can to make sure we don't have to buy another water heater at the end of next year.
And the other thing I think is, that's important, is to not label it as the golf course. It's the community center. It's not the golf course.
So where's the clubhouse?
Well, it's part of the community center. But
I'm just saying, because there's two different golfers that have asked me, where's the clubhouse at?
it's in the community center.
They don't feel like it is, I'm just saying.
Well, they should, because that's the reason that we built part of that the way it is, instead of building another $2 million golf course clubhouse. Because the golf course clubhouse it needs to be gone.
They just feel like when they walk in, there should be like clubhouse, a place to buy a couple beers instead of walking up to a bar, pay your dues, not to walk through a restaurant.
Well, that's a good point.
That's how they feel.
Guess we could put up walls or something to,
I'm just.
and signs,
really,
I don't know. But that's a good point. I mean, there are people that still, not now, but during the green part of the year, drove up to the old clubhouse. And, well, there's a sign there that says it's closed. Go. So, I mean, that's a good point. Maybe it should also have a sign that says Alcester Golf Course Clubhouse.
I don't see the difference. That old, the old clubhouse, you walk in and there's tables, and then there was
Yeah, you would have never known it was the golf clubhouse.
that was the most sad. It was just a sad, to me, it was very sad. And I had to work in there, and it was very, very sad that was ours. And I don't see, when you walk in, you're not just walking, when you walk into the clubhouse before, there was here, you made your orders, and there were tables. So now all you're doing is walking past the tables. There's a cabinet with golf supplies and stuff.
Tees,
And-
hats.
And then
Gloves.
it's right there. I don't understand. Why, I mean,
Okay, I gotta stop this conversation. This is aside. There's a supplemental appropriations ordinance that is on the table here for discussion, not the golf course clubhouse, so.
I'll make a motion to approve second reading of supplemental appropriations ordinance number 2022-08.
I will second that motion.
Motion's been made and second to approve second reading of supplemental or appropriations ordinance number 2022-08. Is there any other discussion? Not, all in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
3 yes, 1 no. Motion passed. Finance office updates.
Just starting our winding down of year end. Part of the thing you will be approving is a lot of the documentation we only need to keep for 4 years once you've passed an audit. So I will be requesting that we destroy 2016, 2017 documents, and I have those over there. We will be talking about, and if you're not ready to make a decision tonight, and you want some time to review, that's fine, the resolution of fees for 2023. I did highlight the things in yellow that we should probably look at. And then I did make a change on the salaries when we get to be talking about that. I did modify that because we got word of what the new minimum wage is now set to be. So I put the recommendations on there.
So everything in yellow is current, however, subject to change?
That is correct. If the council wants to change them. Yeah.
So, does that have to be done in 2022, or can it be done in 2023?
Well, if the council is ready to make that decision, we may not sell any memberships or anything between January 2nd and January 9th. I don't know that, but I mean, some people do buy their golf memberships. But if you're not ready to make that decision tonight, if you want time to digest it, I mean, it certainly can wait until January 9th, but we do need to set it on January 9th then.
Well, I don't know if you folks had an opportunity to look at these fees with a kind of a clear mind.
And there is one other sheet that goes along with the resolution of fees. Dave did a comparison with, and it's this sheet right here that has the golf rates on it. The first column is us. We have reciprocity with these other 5 courses, so Hayward, Akron, Irene, Burnsville. Anyway, so he provided the information to you of what they are currently charging, whether it's golfing on a weekday, weekend, their cart rental, and then what the memberships are. And typically what we have done in the past with respect to memberships is we use the previous year's rate if they pay before May 15th. After May 15th, it goes into the new rate. So it's just kind of a way to encourage people to pay their memberships a little bit early. So Dave provided what he thought would be good recommendations for the 2023 memberships for both family membership, couple membership, and single membership, but no changes to the rest. And so I did agree with them, looking at the numbers and looking at the average of the other courses. Something that you guys would need to think about is if you wanted to change the golf cart storage fee for both gas or electric. I feel the pool fees do not need to be changed. It would not be my recommendation that we change those. And the only thing on permits and licenses, I did make a recommendation to change the peddler permit. It was $50. I felt we should up that to $75 for the first person, and then $25 for each additional solicitor. Otherwise, I'm not recommending any additional changes on permits and licenses. And I don't have any recommendations for changes on city hall fees. for the maintenance of using city equipment and operated. Now, the one thing I did not change at all is if you want to make any changes to our weekdays and weekend green fees or car rental.
Dave, this last year, if you don't mind my asking, given how dry it was, et cetera, was it busy?
Not as busy as it was the year before.
We do participate in the Keller Living Golf Card, and it's surprising the number of people that actually came down this year. We've had a lot more participation on that
Oh,
card.
I'm sure.
But I don't know if we had a lot of repeat customers on that.
Yeah, I don't
Our
know.
greens weren't in the best shape after the winter kill problem.
And the only complaint that I heard about it is they didn't like the temporary greens when we reseeded them.
Well, that was a winter problem and a lack of snow cover, and I don't even know whether I should knock. I don't know.
I don't think you need to.
I mean, it'd be nice to get enough snow cover to protect the greens, but at the same time,
So who watches to collect the fees on that? Is that Landon? Who does that?
Collect the fees,
Like from golf course people?
who's ever the bartender.
Okay, so like, but who keeps track? Like such and such is golfing every week,
Most of the golfers will check in.
but if they haven't, and it's August and they haven't paid their fee.
Oh,
Oh,
we do follow that.
yeah.
You guys in the
I
office follow
don't,
that?
or
Okay.
they do, or
Okay.
like Dave will spot people out on the course and ask or look in the book if they've paid, and yeah, Landon or Kelsey or, you know, anybody who's working up there will,
Okay, I just didn't know
see
if
the
there
golfers
was somebody
come
in
in.
charge of that.
Usually they're caught before it gets out of hand. We'll just put it that way.
Okay.
So, I guess,
oh,
first,
Abigail was up for her 6-month performance review as well,
half year,
so she's water.
yeah, she's under letter B there. Their performance reviews, Dale, Pat, and Abigail. Full year, and half year. You can see that list of records. I held it up a little bit ago. Destroying the records, we need to make a motion on 11C.
A motion to destroy the records, of Alcester City Records Destroy List, December 2022.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the destroying of records pertaining to Alcester City Records Destroy List, December of 2022. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I don't know how you feel about the fees. You've got that document that's highlighted in red, 2 pages. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it enough. Maybe if you want to table it till next meeting, that's fine. But we will need to act on it next meeting. So, either we need a motion. If you want to discuss it, that's fine too. but we either need a motion or we're gonna table it until next meeting. I mean, we just got through talking about the golf course, quote-unquote golf course costing, well, $75,000 from water and $75,000 from sewer. You can see the fees there, and the document that Dave Larson provided that shows some of our fees are way lower than other places' fees. Now, some of them are higher. Our cart storage fees are higher than a lot of them, but we got a brand new cart storage shed there. I don't know, what do you think?
Let's just wait.
Okay.
Want to wait till next
Yeah.
meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll move that to next meeting then. 2023 salaries, and we have the opportunity to move into executive session if that's what you so decide. Got a document here that is 2023 budget. Right?
I'll make a motion to go enter into executive session pursuit of SDCL 125-2 personnel.
I'll second
Motion has been made and seconded to move into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, parent 1, personnel. Is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4, aye. It is 7:27 PM.
Thursday, we can make it Thursday.
Tomorrow morning?
Yeah, a couple more.
What time?
27.
Yeah, 27th.
Good, we have talking about it. And I'll do 2 months,
Okay, wonderful.
and then I'll send it to you.
Perfect.
You tempted me.
Usually I'll let Darla choose first.
No, I'm just gonna get one thing.
That bread is amazing.
Oh, shoot, there's one. Stop eating.
No nuts, I don't know what it is.
I buy this lemon water that actually, not lemon water, it's lemon juice. It's 32, 33 ounces of 40 squeezed lemons in a bottle. Kind of expensive, but it's supposed to help with the kidney stones. Certainly helps with the Yeah, flatter situation. I apologize. It is 8:42. Out of executive session. And we're going to move to item F. Year-end warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve Mayor Hayter to sign checks and approve paying year-end warrants.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the signature of checks for year-end warrants by the mayor. Is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the meeting date. Changing it to January 16th, is there,
This was the discussion at the last meeting. We're meeting on the 9th, and then there was some question if you guys wanted to meet a week later. There are 5 Mondays in January, so the discussion was to possibly move it to the 23rd.
you want a week between?
Don't
So
matter.
we'd still have it up at 9.
Right, yeah.
This would be the second meeting in January.
So she's talking about
So-
changing the 16th to the 23rd, which is the 4th Monday, because there are 5 in
And it's
January.
still be 2 weeks.
Yep,
And then we'll make it 2 weeks before the next one, right?
that's
Correct.
true. And if you want to do that, we need to make a motion to change it to that date.
I'll make a motion to approve changing January 16, 2023 meeting date to January 23rd, 2023 at 6 PM.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve changing the January 16th, 2023 meeting date to January 23rd, 2023 at 6 PM. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Christmas is 23rd through the 26th. Both the 23rd and the 26th, City Hall will be closed. And I'm assuming, aside from maybe the unfortunate snow removal people, they would also not be on the clock.
Yeah, will we?
Oh, Dale.
Is the community center open New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve?
They're gonna have shortened hours.
Oh,
They will be
okay.
closed on Christmas Day.
Christmas, yeah,
Sunday.
that makes sense.
New Year holiday, January 2nd, City Hall will be closed. City Council meeting has already been talked about, it's on the 9th. And shovel all walkways and a path to the water meter. It's a good idea. It's not only a good idea, but it's one of the ordinances. Number 12 is an executive session if needed. I don't know if it is. If it is, fine. If it isn't, fine. Then we'll move on to, excuse me, Golf Course Community Center. There's Jenna Smith that has been, basically, she's already working, correct?
Right, just
She's-
last week started
yeah.
training. I'll make a motion to hire Jenna Smith, cook, $12 an hour, effective immediately.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to hire Jenna Smith as cook at the golf course / community center. Excuse me, at $12 an hour, effective immediately. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There's another line that says motion to approve hiring, and I don't know if there is another.
there isn't.
Okay, then we skip item B, and then we've just got an adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn council.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the adjournment of the city council. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Council is adjourned at 8:48 PM.